Hey y'all, happy Sunday. Today we're going to be discussing how to get smart on your taxes in 2025. Did you know that approximately 10 million people fail to file their taxes every single year? Now, I think the answer is pretty clear. The IRS makes filing taxes nearly impossible, and they don't give you any tips or tricks on how to do it. That's why today I'm going to equip you with the essential tips and tricks that you need to understand how to file your taxes. So here we go. So what are taxes? Taxes are a portion of income designated by the government or state in which you live usually by a percentage that citizens of that nation or city or state are obliged to pay to the government in order to pay for things like civil projects like roads and bridges, military in some cases, your National Guard for states, social projects like Social Security, Medicare, and a bunch of other things. Now, everyone's supposed to file taxes, and filing your taxes just means you get statements from your work, whether it be W-2s or 1099s. We'll talk about those in a minute. And then you report them to the government so that the government knows how much tax you paid for the year. Now, most people have their taxes taken out of their income they already make, but some don't. And some folks have to pay taxes during the year, usually if they're independent contractors or something like that. Now, like I said at the beginning of this video, the frustrating part is that it is on the citizen, at least in the United States, to file their taxes with the federal government. Now, there's a plethora of different systems out there. I just did a video yesterday, linked above now, on how active duty National Guard and Reserve soldiers can file their taxes for free with Military OneSource. And the frustrating thing is, there's no real easy way to do it. There's a bunch of different forms. If you did your taxes on your own, there are a bunch of different forms that you need to fill out in order to send them to the IRS so that they can evaluate and see if you paid your due to the government for the month. It's almost like paying a rent check to a landlord every year, with the exception that the landlord at least tells you how much you got to pay. When you file your taxes, it often feels like you're guessing if you paid the right amount or not the right amount every year, which is why it's so frustrating. So here are the tips and tricks that you need to get smart about your taxes in 2025. Tip number 1 is collecting all your forms. Now, for most people, they're only going to have a W-2, which is the income statement you get from your work, stating all the wages you received and all the taxes that you have already paid. And that's the easy part. For a W-2 employee, again, like most people, most of you have already paid your taxes because your work is obligated to pay the taxes for you. Other forms include 1099 ints or divs. These are also very common because most people have checkings and savings accounts, and if you're earning interest from those accounts, you're going to be getting these forms that state how much interest you received over the year, and your tax bracket will determine how much tax you pay on the interest you made from those kinds of accounts. If you start collecting all your documents, you need to figure out how you'd like to file your taxes. Again, I've linked it earlier. I'll link it again above. Military can file for free for most conditions. Obviously, check the conditions there to make sure that it applies to you. So the next tip is deciding if you want to take the standard or itemized deduction when you file your taxes. The standard deduction, which I have posted up here now for single and married couples, is a pre-designated amount by the government that they just give you by default. Now, if you want to go to the route of itemized, you need to make sure that all the items that you want to deduct from your taxes equal at bare minimum that value that is provided by the standard deduction. Because if the itemized deductions you want to take do not add up to at least that standard deduction, then you're wasting your time filing an itemized deduction and should just take the standard deduction. And the last tip is going to be discussing the difference between a deduction and a credit. So for deductions, let's say your income is $65,000. Your tax that'll be up to like the 22% tax bracket. Let's say you have a $5,000 worth of deductions. So you'll deduct $5,000 from the $65,000 of your total income, and you'll only have to pay taxes on that $60,000 of income. Now, that doesn't mean you get $5,000 back. You'll get 22% of $5,000 back. Now, credits, those are awesome, and that's the difference. So for a credit, it is a exact amount that you would get back. So in the previous explanation of credits, you only get 22% of $5,000. Let's say you make $65,000 and that's your taxable income, but you have a $5,000 credit or tax credit to your account, then you'll get exactly $5,000 back credited to you for your taxes for that year. I hope my tips helped you today and helped you learn a little bit more about taxes and how you can plan forward in 2025. If you had a comment, leave it down below or ask a question if you didn't understand something, and I can either answer myself or find someone who can. If not, like, share, subscribe so I can make more videos like this to help you all with your finances in the future. I love each and every one of you, and I'll see y'all in the next video.